Rivia will never die so long as we are alive. Nilfgaard will not spit in our maws! Lady, the traitors run before you. Find me a map and I'll show you where they buried the loot. Nilfgaard will not spit in...
These lands, they look familiar to you?
Naturally, Your Grace. They're the venerable Count Caldwell's.
War, death, chaos. Everywhere but here. This land's positively pastoral.
The traitorous Caldwell family's residence loomed into view. Against the horizon, it looked suitably sinister. Yet the manor had changed since Meve last saw it. 2 new wings, ornate towers, a grand colonnade. And the windows now glistened with stained glass, the gilded hue of imperial suns.
We must pay them a visit,
Seethed the Queen. The great double doors opened with an echoing thud. Just inside them stood the heir to the estate, Dragomir, his wife and 3 children by his side, and Helena, the treacherous Count's widow. Sliding the cap from his head, thus giving proof of the family's hereditary baldness, Dragomir knelt down upon one knee.
Your Grace, my father's betrayal stands beyond doubt and exoneration.
The young Caldwell said flawlessly, and in a single breath, as if he'd practiced a dozen times.
And his death at your hands was most well deserved. I beseech you to lay your trust in Prince Willem. He'll confirm I knew naught of my father's plans. I humbly ask that you not punish me for his sins. Allow me to stay on my ancestral lands, to serve faithfully as your loyal subject.
I believe not a word slithering out of his mouth,
Whispered Reynard.
The first chance he gets to stab you in the back, he will take.
Meve narrowed her eyes and gazed at Dragomir. Large drops of sweat dripped from his brow.
You may stay,
Said the Queen, finally breaking the silence.
on 2 conditions. Firstly, you will make a considerable donation toward the war effort. Then field an infantry regiment, fully outfitted, under my command.
Naturally, Your Grace. And the other?
In one swift motion, Meve snatched a crossbow from a soldier, put it to her cheek, and loosed. Caldwell the Younger screamed bloody murder as he threw up his arms to shield his face. The bolt hissed by and struck the center of a golden sun, shattering one of the stained glass windows.
Redecorate.
Said the Queen flatly. She then mounted up and sped off, earnestly hoping she'd not come to regret her generosity.
I shall replace the glazing in the windows to bear Rivian diamonds, a glazier I've already sent for. My father was wrong about you, and even more wrong about Nilfgaard. I shan't let you down, Your Majesty. I shall stand by your side until victory's achieved. Again, many thanks, Your Grace, and this, may it serve as proof of my loyalty. I shall replace the glade. My father was wrong about you, and even more wrong about Nilfgaard.
I'll fight to my last breath.
An army's a waste of time for one like me.
I warned you!
I live to serve you. Without hesitation.
May disgrace ends here! Time I wiped it away!
Watch your heads!
I'll show my mother she's wrong.
And just when you thought things were about to get dull. All right, that's no problem.
For Demavend!
Inarin Yalde Crowfair.
Ah! Left, right, left, right.
We're here.
Catch!
Bigger they are, easier they are to target.
On Handor!
Think I have a beer!
Scheiß in Train!
Agroto dum anima est, spes est.
Enough chit-chat. Draw your weapon.
Don't need no weapon!
When will you ever learn?
Edard Fane!
Thing about slings, they hide well.
We must trust each other.
Prepare to fight, if you've any honor. In the truth! Come on, kill me!
Off to the front yet again.
Naturally. At once.
Blood washes away all shame!
An army's a waste of time for one like me.
Not supposed to be any smoke.
I know what I'm doing.
I smell a leak.
We must trust each other.
Come on, kill me!
Nothing personal, I assure you.
You mad? Don't say that!
It's not too late to walk away.
Have her done in a jiffy.
I'll fight to my last breath.
benefice! Give me some of that! A knight should help. Our codex commands it.
Left, right, left, right. Is today the day?
Her Majesty is exceptional.
Quiet! The Commissar will hear.
Meve now reached Willowhain, a settlement she knew well, for it lay near Waldenrad, where in peacetime she would go to escape her queenly duties and enjoy the thrill of a hunt.
Pheasant, grouse, and partridge in abundance. You will see,
said Meve in muted excitement, pivoting in her saddle to face Gascon. Alas, it appeared the war had ravaged even these woods. Where life had stirred and grown tall before, only resinous trunks remained. And the village itself had lost its quaint allure, surrounded now by a double stockade, a golden sun fluttering above it.
Bastards couldn't even let the damn trees be.
Gascon seethed. A dismal scene. Her once cherished wood, and it weighed heavily on the Queen's spirits. Waldenrad had been a place removed, where she could rest and forget the weight of her crown. Reynard's voice roused Meve from her sad reverie.
A Nilfgaardian garrison holds the village,
he said.
We ought to drive them out, avoid any surprise later from the rear.
give the order to attack, but none is to play the hero. We shall breach or topple the stockade together. Senseless to perish so close to home.
Reynard nodded. Moments later, the Lyrians rushed forth and attacked.
time has come to purge these devils from our homes! Follow me!
Without hesitation. You mad? Don't shake that! Yeah. This could hurt.
Alba! Gloire!
I know what I'm doing.
Watch your heads!
Left, right, left, right.
For you, pal! Anything!
That bit's the white of an eye from half a league away.
We must trust each other.
Again and again and again.
So much anger and suffering. For what?
May disgrace ends here! Time I wiped it away!
I'll fight to my last breath.
And just when you thought things were about to get dull.
To thee, gloire!
A highly curious case.
For Demavend!
Egreto dum anime est, pes est.
As you command.
Prepare to fight, if you've any honor.
Rivia is ours! Ours!
When the battle dust had settled, Meve instructed her soldiers to gather Willowhane's inhabitants. Upon spotting their armed liberators, the common folk cowered in terror.
No longer need you fear.
The Queen shouted.
No longer must you worry about homes and loved ones. The war's nearly done.
Of a sudden, a villager dropped to his knees and raised his hands to the heavens in supplication.
Troche! Guide my queen!
Meve broke off oddly, baffled by the man's outburst. And then it dawned on her. The Rivians of Willowhane had been driven away. Taking their place, Nilfgaardian settlers brought in to transform the near-subsistence plots of local peasants into great estates producing for the Empire. Reynard managed to grasp the essence of the Nilfgaardian peasants' frantic pleas.
They wish to stay. They've come to love the land. They pledged to renounce their emperor, swear allegiance to you as their rightful ruler. They...
Meve had stopped listening. She turned to survey the hamlet. The walls of the huts freshly whitewashed, tools neatly arranged, flower beds well tended. A young girl of 6 or 7 summers peered out from her hiding place in a sunflower patch.
Your Majesty?
Asked Reynard, having noted that Meve's mind had wandered.
What are your orders? What shall we do?
They can stay on 2 conditions. Tell them. For 15 years, they'll pay double the tax. And if any of the previous inhabitants return, they're to be given their huts, lands, and any crops produced in their absence without delay.
The Nilfgaardian settlers accepted the terms with relief. Meve's soldiers with markedly less enthusiasm. As the force left Willowhane, the troops made a show of knocking aside any food or drink the peasants offered.
Hail Reina Meve! Here, Ikuar! Klar and Lyria and Rivia! Eslein Keret Marantaich Stermat Avaed.
Let me tell you of Ravenclough, a quarry Meve passed by. A quarry with a dark history. For years earlier, its wall had collapsed, burying dozens alive. Scholars summoned from Oxenfurt were unanimous in their findings. The rock was fragile, further digging would likely cause slides. Meve had heeded the scholars' advice and closed the quarry by royal decree. Yet now, as she neared it, Meve could hear the even tap of pickaxes. She dispatched scouts to investigate. They returned promptly, their faces sullen, their cloaks blanched with a fine limestone dust.
Quarry's open anew, Your Grace. Nilfgaardians. They've got folk in the pit working it. Appear to be from the surrounding villages.
Interesting. Their engineers have found a way to render it safe, secure the walls.
I'd say that's right unlikely, Majesty. Judging by the fresh graves we saw.
My son, I trust now you see the superior culture Nilfgaard has brought.
Said Meve, turning towards Willem. In answer, the prince merely dropped his head. The Queen then turned to Reynard, as ever at her side.
Reynard, what do you advise?
As a soldier, my Queen, I'd advise against any kind of assault. The terrain's hard, unsuitable for a fight, and we've little to gain from a victory. As a man, however...
Yes?
To leave our folk in chains, in that death trap. 'Twouldn't be right.
If I were to calculate in heart and mind, keep note of gains and losses...
Began Meve.
I'd bend the knee to the Imperials, just as Willem did. But bloody arithmetic won't dictate my course. For I do what's just. I do what's right. Follow me!
Her troops followed without hesitation, swords in hand, their hearts afire.
Those whoresons. Forcing my own subjects to fight us.
Ha! Ah! You mad? Don't shake that! This could hurt.
Don't need no weapon!
Sometimes submission is a virtue.
For Demavend!
Blood washes away all shame!
Your Grace, if we begin killing the overseers, the labourers will turn against them.
Left, right, left, right.
Ha! Ha! This one's got spirit.
they are, easier they are to target.
Nothing personal, I assure you.
Catch him! He's worth 20 florins!
The overseers are dead, Your Grace.
The Lyrians handily dispatched the Nilfgaardian overseers, more trained in the ways of the whip than the sword. Those who survived now found themselves shackled in the very chains they'd forced the peasants to wear. Peasants. Oh, unfortunate souls. The cruel labor in the quarry had taken its toll. They stood before the Queen, shrunken to skin and bone, clothed in tattered rags, their eyes reddened by dust. But in those eyes burned a brilliant fire.
Your Grace, them black-clads treated us like dogs, stripped us of dignity. So we beg you, give us arms, let us march neath your banner. 'Tis a chance at revenge we seek, we want!
Reynard leaned towards Meve and spoke in a scarcely audible whisper.
Majesty, they've nowt. Not boots, not even foot wraps. To equip the lot, train them, would cost a small fortune.
'Tis true. They've nowt to their names,
said the Queen.
Have few skills to offer and little strength. But to look in their eyes is to know they'll never flee, never throw down their arms. Such recruits are worth coining any amount.
Emaciated, downtrodden, the peasants met the Queen's offer with gratitude. They relished the thought of facing their tormentors in a fight.
And Lyria and Rivia!
Meve spied the outline of Malabon Castle on the horizon and turned dour. True, no golden suns waved atop its towers, yet that did not mean those within supported her. Malabon belonged to House Obert, long in conflict with Meve's own, and with Meve herself.
Behind their ramparts, do you see them, Reynard?
Asked Meve, shaking her head.
Countless ballistae, collecting dust, while war rages all around.
Perhaps the Oberts will lend us aid,
Reynard replied.
True, you've been at odds with them in the past, but perhaps now, faced with a common foe.
A common foe?
Snorted the Queen.
You mean Nilfgaard, to whom they opened their gates? Caldwell, whom they supported.
They supported me, Mother.
Willem said.
And I know they share my disappointment with General Epdai's actions. When they see I now stand by your side, they might forget old wrongs.
The things I do for the good of my realm.
Meve sighed.
So be it. Reynard, send a runner to the castle. Tell the Oberts their queen seeks a word.
Moments later, the castle's heavy iron gate creaked open. Meve rode into the cobblestone courtyard, where Margravine Greta, head of the house, greeted her. Although, greeted is perhaps not the right word, for Lady Greta granted her only a barely perceptible nod.
What can I help you with, Meve?
The war, my dear. The one being fought outside the walls of your castle.
Greta smiled to herself, then intertwined her brittle, ring-covered fingers.
I'm afraid that's impossible.
It is a vassal's sacred duty to serve her liege, and...
And my liege is King Willem.
Greta calmly retorted. Hearing his name, Willem stepped forward.
I wish to add my name to my mother's entreaty,
said the prince.
We tried to pact with the Empire. We trusted General Epdai's promises, and he broke them, one after the other.
Margravine Greta dropped her gaze. The Oberts had lost lands, their serfs had been deported. Under Nilfgaard's rule, they had lost no less than the other great families.
We can brook no further delay. We must strike, united with all our might. Only thus can we retain hope for a victory.
Mine is long lost,
the noblewoman replied in a whisper.
I watched from my tower as their troops marched past, an endless sea of black plate. But you are right, Your Majesty. At some point, one must say enough, even if that is one's last word.
Willem grasped the Margravine's brittle hand and bowed.
Thank you. On behalf of myself, my mother, and all our land.
Meve left Malabon Castle reinforced by the Oberts and reassured by Willem's actions. If earlier she had harbored doubts about forgiving her son his betrayal, now she was convinced she had done the right thing.
We march with you, Lyrian beside Rivian, together at the Blackclads. War. War, what is it good for? Absolutely naught. Prince Willem speaks true. No more bending. An end to concessions. War. War, what is it good for? Absolutely naught.